Everything you want, the relationship, the purpose, confidence, the next level of your life, is waiting on the other side of one thing: what you're currently unwilling to feel. In this episode, Danielle and I explore spiritual awakening, fear, Reiki, and intuitive leaps, and why real transformation begins when you stop bypassing your emotions and start feeling them. Welcome to You Matter, I Matter, a transformational podcast about reconnecting with what truly matters. I'm your host, James, and each week is an opportunity to explore a little bit deeper who you really are. With amazing guests, we explore topics such as purpose, connection, commitment, and what it really means to live more consciously. If you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, from others, or from life, you're in the right place. Join us on You Matter, I Matter. Now, let's begin. Everything you want is on the other side of what you're currently not willing to feel. Good morning, Danielle. Can you tell me more?
Yes. So often what I've discovered is that as you are calling in more and more of the things that you desire, it confronts you to look at the things from your past that were not in alignment with those things. So that's where we start doing the digging around in the emotional world to see where there is a block to you receiving the things that you desire, because you can have them. But if there's something within you that says, that doesn't align with what I've known, then you need to do the clearing work to get to receive those things, if that makes sense.
That makes plenty of sense. I'm very big into any emotion that comes up, or anything really. It's there to tell me something. It just wants to be heard. And I feel like like the other day I was feeling attachment, but the attachment actually said was that I'm not actually attached to anything. I choose to be attached. And in that case, it said that I can choose to be not attached to anything. So it's, for me, that was just making that conscious choice to be detached from perhaps my car, working on my dad's farm. It could be detached from anything in life.
It's true, but there's the conscious sort of analytical mind view of these things, and then there's the body's experience of these things. And I think what can happen is you can get very caught up on the manifestation world and thinking, okay, this is what I want, this is what I desire. And consciously, you may be on board with that. But internally, those things need to be honored. Like, why am I attached? Why do I feel such a deep connection to my car or the farm? And it's like going in and just allowing that some space rather than overriding it. And yeah, you can change the way that you feel towards things, but I think it always starts with compassionately accepting the truth of your emotional world.
But tell me more. Tell me more about the body's experience, because what I mean when I say what I meant when I said that was that basically I've tuned into my body. There's something there, whether that's attachment, whatever it is, anger, frustration, grief. It's more, I feel into my body and allow that body to kind of speak to me what it needs. And that's the message. Tell me more about the going in and the experience from the past.
So anything that's coming up in your current reality is generally linked to something you've already experienced. It's just a present trigger of things that you've already experienced. So if you start to feel, sadness around the loss of the car, for example, you go into that sadness and just be like, okay, cool, you're here. I feel you. I see you. You can check in with where that is in your body, because the body stores different memories and different experiences in different parts of the body. And then just allow that emotion to move through you. Like, okay, it feels quite, because, emotions can be intense and they can be painful, and we can resist that because it seems easier to not experience emotions. But I say blocked emotions block forward motion in our life, because emotions are supposed to move and be expressed and felt. So it's like going in within and like saying, okay, what does this sadness need? Or what does that remind me of? When was my first experience of this? And really, it's just a beautiful opportunity to connect with yourself in a deeper way, and to really honor how much we care and feel as human beings, instead of going, oh yeah, well, I should be fine with this because there's only a car. What does that car represent to you? What does it mean? What experience, like what memories does it hold for you? And so it's like being gentle with yourself as you do bravely let go of things. Because I'm very much, a fan of letting go to create space for the new. But I do it in a really honoring way, rather than doing it in a really human and slow, mindful way, rather than, oh yeah, just let go of all this stuff because then new things will come in. If you don't fully kind of process the emotion of those things, you don't really create space. You're just creating physical space, but not the emotional space.
Question I want to ask is,
Yeah.
is the emotion, because what I've come to realize quite often, the emotion I'm feeling, so a big one is grief. If I'm feeling grief, is the emotion actually mine, or is it somebody else's? And for me, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody else's. Now, in that instance, I feel as though I've absorbed this energy off other people, or whatever it's come from, and I feel like it's down to me to using, as we might talk later, dragon energy. I allow the dragon inside and the fire to move that energy up through me, so that that energy can now be released. Because the last thing I want to do is put that energy back into the world when I can allow myself to process it and transmute it. Now, I found that a big eye-opener, because I feel like there's a lot of people taking on a lot of energy in this world, which actually isn't theirs.
Yes, and that does happen, especially for sensitive people. Are you a Pisces? What's your star?
Aquarius.
You know what your sun, moon, and rising are?
No.
Oh, you need to find out, because generally people with a strong Pisces energy in their chart, because we're not just our star signs, there's a lot more to it than that. Pisces are like the psychic sponges. They absorb the collective energy. So that's definitely a thing that people experience. And a beautiful way to deal with that is to say, starting the day with some very good energetic clearing and protection practices. So you can work with crystals or meditation, visualizations, and really set the scene for the day that actually, I'm open to interacting with others, but their stuff's theirs, mine's mine, So, and then you don't have to do too much clearing at the other end of the day, when you've absorbed everyone else's stuff and you suddenly feel heavy and a bit drained by the interactions that you've had with people. So I would say there's something to explore there for you around, like, why am I so energetically open to taking on other people's stuff? Is it to protect me from my own grief? Because we do this as healers, as kind of sensitive souls, as empaths. Sometimes it's easier for us to help others than it is to help ourselves. And weirdly, I pulled one of my oracle cards this morning, and this was the one that came out, and it says, grief is the doorway to deep transformation. And, that it says more on the back, but it is about like honoring our grief as like a cracking open of the heart for more good things to come towards us. But it's incredibly painful. So again, we can kind of distract ourselves from that process, so that we kind of short term, we don't feel the pain, but long term we do, because we can't really move forward until we've felt that. So yeah,
I can understand that. It's for me, I feel like I'm almost one of those, maybe yourself, one of those beacons which naturally absorb this energy as a way to transmute it. So rather than seeing that, I don't mind, I'm pretty open, I'm pretty closed, depending on what's going on around me. But I allow that energy just to, rather than, it quite often it flows through me.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I'm more of a portal.
Yeah, interesting. And like, it's your own, it's your choice, really. There's other ways I do it. I kind of like, if I feel people energetically plugging into my energy, because I'm quite a beacon too, I just give it back to the earth. So I say, I unplug myself and literally plug them back into the earth, or like put their hands on a tree, so that because it's not my responsibility to do that, So again, you might be carrying a load that you might not need to.
Yeah, that's why I tune into, well, I clear with fire morning and evening just to make
Yeah.
sure all anything left in. Yeah. What's your story? Where does this all begin?
It depends how far you want to go. There's so many chapters to somebody's life. Let me feel into where I would start. I mean, I really feel like, I went through a spiritual awakening around my 30s, when I just turned 30, and I had some ongoing like health issues. And that's when I started to explore like alternative therapies and find other ways to help myself, because the medical profession didn't know what to do with me. They were like, "Sure, Norm." I said, "I don't think so. I'm going to go get a second opinion on this." So then I ended up kind of connecting with a lot of spiritual people and spiritual practices, and learning lots of different modalities for myself, not knowing that I would then later be using those things to help others. And so I kind of stepped out of a life that looked very good on paper. Like, I was married, I was living in a beautiful home on the harbour side of Bristol. We had a cat, lots of holidays. I was running a business. I had good work-life balance. But I kind of woke up one day, and it was actually after I had an astrology reading. I mean, it had been a long time coming. There were little hints along the way, but it was the astrology reading that really blew my mind. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I am choosing this, and I can choose again. Like, this doesn't feel good. And I keep trying to make it feel good, but it just doesn't. I was really disconnected from my body and my intuition at that point. And then I was just like, oh my God, I could let this go. I could let this go. And I felt this huge sense of relief, and that it was just the right thing to do at that time. It had just reached a natural end. We had a conversation that evening, and I asked the best question I've ever asked, I think. I said to my then husband, I said, if we were to go on if we were to go on a date, our first date today, would you want to go on a second date? And he said, no. And I said, no, I wouldn't want to see you again either. That's how much things had changed in our relationship. I'd gone down a very spiritual path. When I met him, I was working in the corporate world in finance, and I'd ended up training as a hypnotherapist at that point. So then from then on, because I gave myself permission to let go, then I could see all the ways that I was living that were out of alignment with my heart and my true happiness. And so I started to let those things go. And then I say it's going with the flow, because I've since written a book called How to Really Go with the Flow. So I was learning how to surrender to life and trust myself, and to not know what was coming, but each time just keep moving through the emotions that were coming up, and allowing things to unfold. And so I found that there was a pattern and a cycle that was happening within that. And so during lockdown, I received the flow philosophy. I channeled it from my spirit guides, and then that's now in the book. So I can help people when they're going through their own transformation and change, help them to understand that there's a natural rhythm to it, and normalize the difficult bits. Because sometimes it sounds like, if I just follow my intuition and go with the flow, it sounds so easy, which, on some level it is. But we're human, we're souls that know things, but we're also humans with fear. And, I think I'm the right person to have written that book, because I've dealt with a lot of fear. Some people just naturally go with the flow, and some people want to, but they find it difficult. So that's really where I come in to support people when they're moving through these changes that they know need to happen, but they find it difficult.
I had a spiritual awakening in my 30s as well. And it's very similar to yours, because after my first, so it happened after a breakup. I'd ended it, and then she'd ended it. Sorry. 2 days after, I'd had a psychic reading, with spiritual reading, and she said that I could be doing what she was doing, and that got me intrigued because I'm quite an open and curious person, and that's when I started doing. That's when I found Reiki, and I did Reiki level 1, level 2, and so on and so on. And it's that's connecting to yourself. But as you said, it can be scary because it's completely changing the way that you see life.
Yeah. And also, you're in a particular role within your family unit, within your friendships. And when you start doing things differently, you're shaking up, you're rocking the boat. And some people are like, they don't want you to rock that boat. Because they're like, hang on a minute, if you change, then what does that mean for us? We're all going to have to change, or we might lose you. So there was a lot of difficult, some of my friendships fell away. A lot of them fell away, when I saw clearly what I needed and that I was putting up with things that weren't really great for me. Like sometimes people were enjoying my friendship more than I was enjoying theirs. So I had to stop people pleasing. My family had to get used to this new version of me, which was a bit clunky to begin with. They thought I'd lost the plot, and I was like, no, I think I found it. No, so I had to just going towards these things that no one was showing me the way. No one was leading. No one had a book that I could read on how to do this. I'm so glad I did, because it just felt right, even though I never knew what was going to happen. I just knew I was doing the right thing. So I had that deep sense of trust beneath the fears that would churn a lot, So it's a brave thing to do, to step away from a life that looks good or was good, until then you realize this isn't it for me anymore. That's not what I need anymore. And with the Reiki thing, did you find that every attunement to Reiki opens you up spiritually and changes your vibration? So then again, every time I had a Reiki attunement, more people would fall away. And I was, oh my God, it's like an earthquake keeps going off, and my life keeps changing as my vibration increases, which needed to happen. But, it was quite intense to go through.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but for listeners out there, it's a slow process.
Yeah.
It's not, because it's not something that you do and suddenly you change. It takes time, and there's rocky bits, and there's mountains to climb, and it's a journey. It is a long journey. I've been on this path for, I think I'm 41 Saturday, and so it's 11 years. Yeah. 11 years I've been on this path, and it's taken me to get to this point. Last 11 years have been, some of the years have been really, really rocky.
Yeah, same. I feel like we've been on parallel journeys, because I had the same, and it was like this. It was not a straight line. It was like, oh, go this way now, study astrology. I was like, okay, study astrology. It was like, go that way now. And so there's so many different things that I've done along the way. It's like, write a book, create some oracle cards, start a business, and it was all just, but the thing is, what I'm so glad about, because if you'd have told me 10, 11 years ago, these are all the things you're going to have to do, I would have had a meltdown. I've been like, sod off, I'm not doing any of that, and especially now with this new podcast idea on the horizon that I'm starting, it's just like, there's so many things I've done, but I couldn't have done them all at once. And they were just divinely dropped in, little sprinkle, oh, this would make a great oracle deck. I was like, yeah, actually. Then I had to figure out how to do all of that. I had to publish things. None of this was stuff I'd done before. I'd never written a book before. Then suddenly I'm typing away, doing.
It's slow progress. It's as long as you take one step in front of the other. People get so caught up in the spiritual world, I think. So you see the book, what's it called? The manifestation book that came out was The Secret. And people think that it portrays that all you need to do is think what you do and it'll magically appear. But unless you need to take the action. What the action requires, just taking one step in front of the other. For my book, it's a year journey. maybe a bit longer, maybe a bit shorter, I don't know. But it's more just writing when you feel called to do it. For me, that was writing when I feel called. It's just then just kind of trickling, finding out how to publish the book. That'll be the next step. And then like a podcast, it takes, just looking at a little bit of research on the internet. How to run a podcast? What do I need? How do I actually do it? How can I record it? But it's just one step in front of the other. And as you progress, you get better and better and better at it. And like I've done, I think this will be, I think when it comes out, it'll be the 89th episode. But I'm still at a point where I get nervous, I get anxious, I get things don't always go to plan. Like I've started recording a lot more solo episodes. They're far from perfect. I'm just beginning.
Two episodes. I used to
I just let it flow. And it's just, that little bit of imperfect is part and parcel of the process.
Exactly. The prologue of my book is called Fuck Being Perfect. Because that's what stops us from doing what we're meant to do. Just do the best you can with what you've got now, And it's so true that you do not get the 5-year plan when you're going with the flow. You get the next step, literally. Like, what do I do today? Okay, cool. It feels important to write that email. I'll do that. And then what do I do tomorrow? And it's just tuning in every day and aligning with your spiritual guidance, your intuition, and following it. And it's a big blind spot. We don't know what's on the other side of it. We just don't know.
Yeah.
It's a brave way to live. And sometimes I'm like, I'm done with going with the flow. Can I just have a normal life? It's just like, oh my God, seriously. Like, why do I do this to myself? But then my soul signed up for this. And I can't imagine living any other way. And I can't imagine it literally feels alien to me to have ever lived life not like this, Or my spiritual awakening. I don't know how I coped. Not knowing that I was connected and had, my body guiding me every step of the way. Like it's quite sad how disconnected a lot of people are from that wisdom.
That's definitely the unknown. That is one thing that for years I've always struggled with, because for me, I feel safety in the known. So knowing what's going to happen is a lot of safety there for me. So actually taking the step into the unknown can be very overwhelming, very fearful. But again, it's just one step in front of the other. And it's just, perhaps you want to go and you want to go start dating again or something like that. It's, that is pretty much into the unknown, where it's just about taking one step. So maybe you're going to do a bit of research looking at how people date nowadays, or looking at how they're going to go and meet people, kind of thing. But yeah, it's just, again, what's your experience on the unknown?
Well, I mean, I hate it. I fight against it every step of the way. But equally, I think true safety and security is being at peace with the unknown. And I think it's our human self that feels the fear of the unknown. Our spiritual self feels the vastness of the unknown and the excitement and like the possibility that's in that space. It's our human self that's being really conditioned to think that we need to know what's happening to feel safe. But true safety is going, whatever happens, I know if you have your core beliefs in place, like I know I always have what I need. Like I have moved so many times. And every single time, like I've moved, I've let go of a place before I know where I'm going. And I'm like, really? And it's like, yeah, do it. Just let go. We'll sort you out. And I'm just like free falling a lot of the time. But I always land in a place that is better than the last place. And I always have everything I need. And it comes to me with ease. So if you have, sometimes we need evidence, like to support the theory that it's okay. I'm okay. Life's got me. Again, like true faith is knowing that without needing the evidence, so it's all a way of deepening our faith and trust and surrender. And it's like, praying in the morning, depending on what you believe in, like I'm not religious, but I'm leaning more towards prayer and like, you know, surrendering everything up and just saying, okay, I'm scared to death here. Thank you for holding me during this scary period of my life. I trust that you've got something up your sleeve for me, but this is really uncomfortable. Send me what I need to move through this discomfort. Help me to feel more at peace. So it's like really just speaking to all of that rather than ignoring those fears or trying to pretend that they're not there or, you know, just allow them. Like, oh, wow, I'm scared. And is it your inner child? And what do they need? Do they need a cuddle? Do they need, you know, a duvet day or, you know, whatever it is to make them feel safer? But it's all an opportunity to kind of connect with yourself deeper and to love yourself through the challenges, because it is up and down. And that's really where the flow philosophy comes in, which I can explain if you'd like to hear that, you know, it starts with, you know, so if you take the word flow, that's the word flow is an anagram for the flow philosophy. So the first part is faith. And that's about, you know, what we've been through is going through that spiritual awakening, knowing that you're not alone, that there is something greater than that which we can see. And that can be different for everybody, but it's about having that true connection with something that anchors you and makes you feel like, okay, even if I don't know what's going on around me, there's something supporting me. So you connect in with this faith, and then you'll get an intuitive hit or like a nudge to do something, start a podcast, for example. And that's when you find the courage to take the leap, which is the next word, letter L. Leap is the leap of faith. So if you receive insights and knowledge and you don't act on it, that's fear. That's not faith. So you courageously move towards that thing that you know you need to do. So you leap. And leaping can sometimes be like leaping towards something new or letting go of something. So leaving the relationship, not knowing when you'll meet somebody else, or moving house and not knowing where you're going to be living. That it can be a number of different things, big and small. And then you go into the open stage, which is when all your emotions bubble up to the surface. So this is your fears, your insecurities, grief around what you're letting go of. Even if you are choosing to let it go consciously, it's still painful. A loss is a loss, and it still needs to be honored as such. And it kind of makes you then open to receive in new ways that perhaps you haven't felt comfortable with in the past, because you have to ask for support, ask for guidance. And it's like, oh, usually I'm independent. I do it by myself. And now I have to ask people and show my vulnerability. So that can be really uncomfortable, but also beautiful because it's heart opening. And then there's the wait stage, which is when you get time to rest and recover and integrate the experience that you've just been through rather than charging on. It's like, whoa, it's the yang part is the faith and the leap, and the yin part is the open and the wait. So it's a perfect balance between those two things, because we can't be go, go, go all the time. We do need to rest. And that's the waiting isn't really passive. It's like sitting in positive expectation that what you need and what you desire is on its way. But it's out of your hands, you know, so you have to sit in the place of faith.
Before we even mentioned about the flow, I put down relaxation and how actually when you actually relax and actually sit down and be in silence or daydream, that's when I feel that I attune to whatever guidance I need.
Absolutely. And so, but then there's even this space where some people cannot be in silence with themselves because they're so disconnected from their emotional world that they think that as soon as they stop, this tsunami of emotions is going to hit them. So they keep themselves distracted in this world of like numbing and busyness because they don't feel comfortable being. And that was me. I was running away from myself. Every time when I first started traveling, when I left my marriage, I was trying to outrun myself. And then I realized, oh, I'm everywhere I go and I'm quite sad. So I'm going to need to feel the sadness. And so eventually I allowed myself to feel the grief of everything that I was letting go of. And then I reached this place of deep peace. And that's when my channeling came online, because your emotional world is where your spirituality lives as well. So the more I allow myself to slow down and connect with my emotional world, my creativity, the more my spiritual gifts came online. But if you don't stop for long enough and you don't allow yourself to drop into that emotional space, then you don't unlock those beautiful gifts, you know?
Mm. And it's funny how when you do healing, when you do relaxation, you actually, the gifts naturally come. So like, I never knew a year ago today, I would be working with dragon energy. So for me, I never knew that. And then all of a sudden I was for a healing. I said, oh yeah, there's a connection to dragon there or Merlin. And I was like, okay, let's explain it a little bit more. Let's just kind of go into it. Let's see where that goes. But yeah, you need that space. And I struggle sometimes with relaxation, proper relaxation, because I will, when I'm in my head, I will naturally either listen to music,
Yeah.
or I will watch films as my relaxation. But again, that's kind of almost hiding from properly relaxing.
Yeah. I do think those things have a place in the world, because like if I was sitting in silence meditating all the time, that would be too much for me. Like we're still humans and we do need something that allows us to like passively rest, but not, like it's sort of like occasionally you're just like, this is too much. I just need to put a box set on and forget about life for a minute. Like take me out of my own head. So I don't think that, it's about the balance of it. Like how much time are you spending doing that? Is it kind of draining you, or is it like soothing you? And when it goes, it kind of flips over, doesn't it, at some point? So, and also like maybe just starting the day with some breath work, meditation, like grounding. Like today I did some yoga first thing, and then I sat outside and had my breakfast, and I just had my feet on the earth and I was smelling, all nature smells. And it's just the simplicity of that is blissful. But I often go straight from my phone, listening to, like, I love learning. So that is the sort of thing that I get lost in quite a lot. I love like learning and watching people that I find inspiring. But again, that is a way of disconnecting yourself from your own wisdom. So it's being disciplined. You do need to be disciplined. But I would love to hear more about the dragon stuff, because after we spoke last time and you mentioned the dragon energy, I did a meditation and I received a dragon for the first time.
Yeah, did you? Well,
like a blue dragon, a dark blue dragon. And when I looked it up, it said is really important energy around March time. So obviously we're coming towards March. I was like, okay, this is good.
So for me, so last year I had this healer who I worked with online, and she's very intuitive. She's very connected to things beyond our imagination, and she was clearing every week or every 2 weeks. She'd clear whatever, and gradually the dragons came in, and she said the dragon energy is there, and she kept saying dragons. So okay, let's just explore this. And bit by bit, I'm quite very expressive with my body, so I can tune in to what I need. And as I worked with dragon, I would create different ways of connecting with the dragon. So using my body as a movement, using my breath. I wanted to use my breath, and kind of I'll connect to this thing. But I see fire, the whirlwind around me. But then, so that was last year. I was connected more to fire dragon, but I feel like fire dragon is more to do with clearing, to do with burning away, to do with releasing. If you can, I feel great things with fire, but I'm shifting a little bit now into water, which is also to do with flow.
And emotion, water is
emotion, yeah. And I've started, as part of my morning routine, I used to do this to clear, using fire to clear stuff. I'm actually riding a wave at the same time, which is quite cool. And I'll be doing this kind of thing, and then going like, yeah, and then that would be my kind of, or like different breaths. But I feel like there's not one dragon. There's fire dragons, I feel. There's water dragons, there's earth dragons, there's air dragons, obviously, because they fly. but there's dragons to do with higher vibrational dragons. This morning I've started. So there's a lady called, what's her name? She's a big name. Well, I've got her dragon deck, and
Is
so
it
most days
Queen Virtue? Does she do no?
no, what's her name? I'll send it to you. I'll put it on underneath the writing as well in the script notes.
Yeah.
She has dragon cards, so I pull a dragon card. So I work with different dragons in different days. This morning, I actually, for the first time, chose the dragon I wanted to work with rather than picking it from a card deck. And I worked with the Omega dragon, so a ninth dimensional dragon, which is all to do with the divine feminine and calling in that whole new vision, whole new plan, seedlings. So yeah, there's different. As I'm feeling at the moment is to perhaps if I can tune in more and more to dragons, more and more stuff will come through. But again, I feel as though it's more of it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool rather than I'm not the dragon man. That's a tool in my box. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've got many tools, and it's weird how these things come to you. And I swear it's just like past life, remembering. It's like because when I studied astrology, I was like, I know this. Like I feel like the planets are my friends. Like it was a remembering. It wasn't a learning. And the same with Reiki. Before I was even attuned, I was in a Reiki show, and I knew intuitively where to place my hands. I was like off the body here. And she was like, well, how did you know to do that? I was like, I don't know. I just, So, it's things that we've already done before. It's just coming back online, really. And I do think you need lots of tools in your kit to help people and to support yourself. So one of the things I work with is EFT tapping, which I find invaluable. And we could do some today if you wanted to experience it.
Yeah. I've done it before, but yeah, we could do a session.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll put it onto YouTube at some point, and then people can see the video. But one thing I was going to mention quickly was I've started to embodiment, I feel, is such a key thing.
Yeah.
So things like trust, like love, like confidence, or whatever attribute or value or whatever it is that you want or feel in that moment. I feel like as human beings, we try to logically think what trust is, but I don't feel trust. In my opinion, or whatever it is, love is a vibration, and so when you allow yourself to go in, for me, it's going to that part where I feel trust, and then allow myself to be with that part at trust, and allow that part to expand. Is when I truly connect to the frequency of trust, of love, of whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I listened to one of your podcasts on that. And then I experimented with it, and I tried the word safe. And I said, where am I safe in my body? And then I saw myself in, what they called stocks, with my head. I was being beheaded, in a past life. So I didn't feel safe. So I was shown where I wasn't safe. And I just sat with that, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I can relate to that happening. And I know that I've gone through a lot of past lives where I was killed for being who I am. So then you carry that sort of signature with you into this lifetime. So it's having compassion for the experiences that you've had in the past, and then soothing your soul by saying, okay, that was then, this is now. I'm sorry you've been through that, but we're back. And they can't ever actually kill us because we come back, and now is my time. So it was just nice to have a flash of that and to really honor that. And then I could connect with the safety. So it's like, if there's something in the way of what you want to experience, be with that first, and then you can drop in deeper. But I do agree with you that words and feelings are a frequency. And the more we can just be like, because, whenever we're feeling fear, really is a call for like, help, I want to feel safe again. Like I'm scared. So then it's like going in and saying, where can I feel safe? How can I return to that feeling of safety? And it's a constant practice, because you could clear things, and then the next day you wake up and you're like, oh, it's back.
Well, it's funny. I think this is one reason why finding a good healer is so important. As
Yeah.
part of the healing I did, this lady, she was going into past lives and she was bringing up all these different stuff. She had ones where I was strangled, where I was had my neck slit, where I was hung. She had ones
Yeah.
where I was recently. The ones for me have been, and it's to do with my teeth. I've had to wear like contractions where in past lives where it stopped me from speaking, and it was like a torture technique. And so I've had teeth taken out and stuff. And but with having that healer, she was able to go back to them past lives and heal that in that life. And so
Yeah.
it did it. So anything coming down that line suddenly cleared. And so
Yeah.
that's why I think I've shifted so much into dragon energy, into all this stuff so quickly, is because all that stuff from the past lives, injuries or deaths or whatever, is actually being cleared.
Exactly. Exactly. And so when you're ready for your next evolution or your next up level, because you're doing a podcast, you want to be heard. You want to share your voice more. So the fact that things are coming up in this area is like really a positive sign that you're ready to take it to the next level. But all the resistance that is in the way is coming up to be cleared. So, and that we have to be patient with that journey and compassionate, because you can think, oh, I've dealt with that. Surely that's not a thing anymore. But then there's another layer of it that comes up when you're ready to take yourself to the next level. So, and then different healers, you intuitively get guided to different healers at different times for what you need. So if you say, okay, I'm ready to move through this, show me the way, send me the right healer. I'm ready to break through this now. Pay attention to the signs. Who are you drawn to? Who do you feel like could, and we know this, we know who's going to be the person that is right to take us to the next step. And we all need support. Even healers need healing. I have loads of different healers that I've worked with over the years, and I will continue to do that because we can't always see our own blind spots.
Yeah. One thing, just on that note of healers, I've now come to the so I've in my last 10 years, I've had loads of healing. I've gone through healing with Reiki, with other healers in other ways. I'm starting to have shift now from that realization that sometimes we can get caught up in the idea that we always need to heal to be healed. We need to heal this, we need to heal that, we need to heal everything before we can move on. But I'm shifting now into that mindset that people just need to start to step into that new identity of who they're becoming. When they start to step into that new identity, suddenly they might come a cropper with a certain healing, something that needs to heal. That's to do in that moment. But sometimes we get so caught up in we need to heal everything before we can move on. I feel like we don't. We need to step into that next phase, into that new identity, into that place of our next evolution.
Exactly. I'm having the same realization myself, because I think you can get addicted to healing. Let's put it out there. Like, and I do think I'm like, oh, just a little bit more healing, and then I'll be able to do that. Oh, just a little bit more healing. And it's like, is that just your safety net now that you've got used to? And I feel like I'm transitioning from like having received and experienced a lot of healing and learning. And now I'm like, I need to teach, I need to share, I need to show up. I need to help other people with these gifts that I've acquired. So at some point you do need to shift into this new identity, which requires courage, because it's that leap into this next version of yourself. But actually, I feel really ready for it. I'm a bit, I want to be of service in a greater way. Like, I want to make a bigger impact. So that's why these podcast things, it feels like a new opportunity to connect with new audiences, new people that need to hear what we've experienced.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like 2026 being a 1 year in numerology is pretty much the next phase. And I feel like our evolution, human beings' evolution generally, is speeding up. So I feel like just having that idea of who do we want to be? And then tune into your body, or ask a better question. Who is it that I'm meant to be? And then tune into the body, and then ask, how do I need to show up every day?
Exactly. And just like operating from that identity now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's believing in the unknown and like acting, like seeing, believing before you see things. So it's like, just adopt that identity. This is who you are, and the world will catch up with you. So again, that requires a leap of faith, you know, and a lot of courage to do that, because a lot of people just live by what they can see instead of what they can feel and know to be true. So to keep evolving and growing as a human, it requires a lot, you know, to keep expanding into this new evolution of yourself. But I believe that's why we're here, to do that. You know?
Definitely. Let's do some EFT.
All right, let's do some EFT. So first off, we've got to just take some deep breaths together, ground your energy. And just notice anything that you're experiencing in your body, any weird sensations, any memories that are coming up, anything that your body is making you aware of. We don't need to understand it. We just need to be aware of it. Just make sure you're nice and grounded, feet on the earth, dropping your roots down into the ground beneath you. Okay. Noticing anything?
I felt like, it's hard to explain this one. So like an image of like squares, you know how they go boom, 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 almost like a portal.
Oh,
But it was
yeah.
quite red, and it was quite red and like white lines, almost like a diamond kind of shape in a square. Obviously, the square is facing up.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, for me, that was about allowing myself to tune in with dimensions further afield.
Yeah. Interesting, because I asked you to connect in with your body and you went, what? So I connected in with your body and it showed me some different things. Like, neither is right or wrong. It's just interesting information. Okay. So I think that's your natural mode, is to be external.
Yeah.
But we need to get you more internal with your internal landscape, which is just as rich as the vastness of the universe, you know? But when I connected with your body, I felt a flash of grief in your chest. It was just like, oof, there's some grief in the chest. Then I felt anxiety in your stomach, like a little like pang of anxiety in the stomach, which can feel like, that's our power center. That's where our courage comes from. It's like, nervousness. Then it turned into sort of a tight feeling. And then there was like some weight on your shoulders, like you carry a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So what we do with tapping, the beauty of the technique is we don't need to understand what any of this means. I mean, I have a reference to these things that I use to understand, like, grief is very much in the lungs. I work with the chakra systems. I've got different ways of translating what the body is showing me because I've built up this language with my spirit guides. But even if you don't understand what your body is showing you, you can still tap on it and eventually it will make sense. So you start with what you've been shown. And then as you chip away at the layers, different things will come to the surface and suddenly you go, oh, I know what that's about. And a memory will come in or something will come up. So we just start with what we've been given and then eventually it will reveal more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're going to start by lightly tapping on what they call the karate chop point, which is the fleshy bit on the side of the hand. And you can do either side, whatever feels most comfortable. And it's only a very light tap. And you can just repeat after me. And also, if the words don't feel entirely true for you or not in the way that you would say it, you can just shift them into your own way of saying things, okay? And give me feedback as we go. And anyone who's watching, you're welcome to follow along with us. And again, change it if it doesn't feel true. But energetically, we will come together. So I'm sure that what we're tapping on is going to be good for everybody. So even though I have a flash of grief in my chest,
I have a flash of grief in my chest,
anxiety in my stomach,
anxiety in my stomach,
there's a tightness in my solar plexus,
a tightness in my solar plexus.
and I feel weight on my shoulders.
I feel weight on my shoulders.
I carry a lot of responsibility.
I carry a lot of responsibility.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love,
Accept,
accept, and
forgive myself completely.
forgive myself completely.
How does that feel to say those things?
Feels good. There's a lightness in this section here.
Yeah. As soon as you acknowledge it, it can shift. And the body loves it when you listen. It just loves it. It's like, yes, finally. So we're also adding what you receive. So even though I received an image that felt like a portal.
An image that felt like a portal.
It was squares and lines.
It was squares and lines and diamonds.
And diamonds, red and white.
Red and white. And
blue.
And
blue. And as we're saying this, I can feel like choked up feeling in your throat. There's a choked up feeling in my throat.
And there's a choked up feeling in my throat.
And if at any point you need to yawn, sigh, cry, allow it, because it's great. It wants to move. I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love and accept myself completely.
Even though I have a tendency to get galactic.
Even though I have a tendency to get galactic.
Before I get interested in my internal world.
Before I get interested into my internal world.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Okay, deep breath. Right now. Okay, then we're going to go to the top of the head. Just a light tap on the top of the head. Flash of grief in my chest.
Flash of grief in my chest.
There's some sadness I need to feel.
There's some sadness I need to feel.
I need to slow down to feel it.
I need to slow down to feel it.
It's anxiety in my stomach.
It's anxiety in my stomach.
There's tightness in my solar plexus.
Some tightness in my solar plexus.
The weight I carry on my shoulders.
Some weight I carry on my shoulders.
Maybe these responsibilities aren't mine.
Maybe these responsibilities aren't mine.
Maybe I can let some of them go now.
Maybe I can let some of them go now.
I feel lighter.
Yeah.
I feel lighter.
I feel lighter.
And happier.
And happier.
When I connect with my truth.
When I connect with my truth.
Okay, hands on heart, deep breath. bit of a panicky feeling in the heart now. What are you noticing?
Yeah, I can feel that. That feels, for me, there's a level of anxiety, but also excitement.
Okay.
That's what that feels like. That feels like, yeah. And I think it's because I've always been attached to keeping safe. So then suddenly putting yourself onto podcasts and having parts of you put out to the world, there's always that feeling of unsafety in there.
Mm. Yeah, and the lump in the throat's coming back as you say that. I can feel it here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, are you open to doing another round of tapping with that?
Yeah.
Even though there's a panicky feeling in my heart,
Even though there's a panicky feeling in my heart,
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Even though I don't feel entirely safe to be seen,
Even though you're entirely safe to be seen,
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Even like the fact that you're stumbling over those words, they're a little bit challenging for you. When we're really in alignment with them, they flow. So, and you can say, if it's too hard for you to say, you can say, I am learning to love, accept, and forgive myself completely. There's a lump in my throat.
There's a lump in my throat.
Breath. And I am learning to love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I'm learning to love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
It feels like a really nice opening in the sacral chakra now. It's like, boom. It's like a power center. It's like, that's come back online. Okay. So this panicky feeling in my heart.
This panicky feeling in my heart.
Is it safe to be me?
Is it safe to be me?
Is it safe to be seen?
Is it safe to be seen?
Was it safe to share my voice publicly?
Is it safe to share my voice publicly? Of
Course it is.
course it is. Of course it is.
Of course it is. That's why I'm doing it. I'm on my path.
I'm on my path.
I'm courageously rewriting the story.
I'm courageously rewriting the story.
See, this is the opportunity, because if you've experienced past lives where it wasn't safe to express, like especially with this caption, then this lifetime, you said, right, I'm going back and I'm going to get my opportunity to do it. And so, the resistance you're feeling is connected to the past, but in this lifetime, your soul knows that's what you're here to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling a bit of tension around the back of the neck now. Tension around the back of the neck. You can repeat that.
Tension in the back of my neck.
My body is releasing all the trauma I've experienced in my past lives.
My body is releasing all the trauma that I received in the past life.
Yes. I can be gentle with myself as I move through these things.
I can be gentle with myself as we move through these things.
My sacral chakra is opening.
My sacral chakra is opening.
Okay, hands on heart, deep breath in. The other card I pulled today, because I've got 2 sets of oracle cards that I've created. This is called the Underworld, and it's quite a messy card. It's like birth, like the messiness of transformation can feel like, it feels uncomfortable to me. Like, birthing the new version of yourself is like, And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I'm like over being human, especially when you're spiritual and you can connect to other things. You're like, oh my God, I wish I was just a spirit. It's hard being a human sometimes. So that's what this card is about. And it says, remember, your soul is here for a reason. You are one powerful presence that this planet so desperately needs. So just remember that actually you're doing it right, and you're here to do your part, and you are doing it through this podcast.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Can you let us know, what is it that you do and how can people get in contact?
So I offer, obviously they can connect with my book and my oracle cards. That's in the shop on my website, flowwithdanny.co.uk, 1N, 1I. If they want to work with me one-to-one, I offer a 3-month deep dive program where we connect in this way weekly. And it includes an astrology reading as well, because that's like a cheat sheet for what I do. It's very helpful to have that information. They also receive the books and they get a care parcel with it as well, and a psychic painting. So there's a 3-month journey that we go on together so that they can deep dive and chip away at all these things that are getting in the way of their next level identity. And then I've got online courses as well that are pre-recorded. So there's lots of different things that people can access to get the support that they need. And I'm on Instagram at Flow with Danny Healing. And podcast coming soon.
Excited, looking forward to it, because I think you said well be on there, weren't you? I think you mentioned about doing an episode.
Yeah,
about doing a podcast episode.
Yeah. It's called Let Go and Flow with Danny, and I'm gonna do sort of conversations and then also healing, because I like demonstrating what is possible and like doing collective healing so people can receive it while they're watching it. I think that's powerful.
Yeah. I think that's such a thing. So with the dragon energy, I can create that sacred space where the energy is doing its work as we're coaching or as we're chatting or whatever it is. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you. It's wonderful. It's really, really interesting chat. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If something in today's conversation resonated, take a moment to sit with it. And if you feel called, share this episode with someone who might need it too. You Matter, I Matter is a growing space. And if you'd like to stay connected, you're welcome to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps this work to reach people it's meant for. These conversations matter. You matter, I matter. Until next time, take care of yourself and the relationships in your life.